Well, we're very excited about our 2013 signing class here at Wolves Football. We signed 30 players this morning, Wednesday, February 6th, from 6 different states. That includes 2 players that are currently enrolled in school and with the team already, and 28 players that will be coming in and joining us in the fall. And a couple of things that we look for throughout the process. Obviously, you want to find good football players. That's what you look for ultimately, but you want to find guys who are serious about getting their degree, and find guys who want to really end up at Northern State. We want to find, and that's really what you end up looking for, is players who want to be here, who've enjoyed the campus, enjoyed the coaches, the players, whatever the case may be, and really want to be at Northern State. And we're fortunate enough to have over half of this year's class, almost 2/3 of this year's signing class, received academic scholarships here at Northern. So it tells you we've really made a commitment to get the best student athletes we possibly can in our program, and that's why we've been able to be successful. We led the conference this year in most first-team academic all-conference selections, and we're trying to continue to try and get the combination of on the field as well as off the field excellence, and that's what we're striving for here. So we're excited about this year's class. What I'll do now is I'll just go through in alphabetical order and give a brief rundown of each guy that we signed this morning, February 6th. Start off with Rob Asa. Rob is a defensive lineman from Fulton, South Dakota. A big physical guy. Had a couple of injuries he's been battling the senior year throughout football and through wrestling. Rob was a state champion wrestler last year as a junior, and is ranked #1 at heavyweight this year as a senior, but probably will not be able to finish his senior year wrestling because of some injuries he sustained throughout the course of the fall and winter. But a real big physical guy that moves around well and is real athletic, and we think he's got a great future as a defensive lineman in our 3-4 scheme. Next up, Ross Barton. Ross is currently enrolled at Northern State, and Ross was the guy that we recruited last year. Ross is from Roncalli High School right here in town. He was a all-state basketball and all-state football player at Roncalli. Tried basketball here at Northern this fall, decided that football was his love, and that's what he wanted to continue doing at the college level. So we're excited to have Ross in our program. We project Ross to play tight end. Certainly brings a lot of athleticism to the table at the tight end position, and think he's got a huge potential to grow and really get a lot bigger and stronger through our strength and conditioning program. Excited to have Ross in our program. Reggie Blader. Reggie is a defensive back from Perry High School in Gilbert, Arizona. Reggie comes from a program. We've actually got 2 players currently on our team from Perry, so Reggie will be the 3rd guy on our team. Very good athlete, played running back and also played defensive back in their system. And I always think that's a good thing to look for when a guy's playing running back and carrying the ball a lot. Generally, those are the guys that coaches are going to say are their best players on their team because they're giving them the football. And Reggie was able to do that. And in addition to that, is a standout track and field guy as well. So again, a multi-sport athlete from an area that we're been successful with. And Reggie's actually had a couple of relatives who years ago went to Northern State here, so he's got a little connection at Northern State University. Mitch Brockhouse. Mitch is a tight end defensive lineman. He's from West Central High School in Hartford, South Dakota, in the Sioux Falls area. Really, size is probably the thing that jumps out at you first off with Mitch. He's 6'8", 240 pounds, and has a huge frame. He's going to be able to throw a lot of weight on, a lot of size and strength on his frame. In addition to that, an athletic guy, again, a basketball player. And you see somebody that big catching passes, running down the field, scoring touchdowns. It gets exciting to see that because it's just something you don't see very often. And comes from a very successful high school football program. West Central's been in the state championship, been a state champion several times for the last 10 years. We've had 3 players in our program from West Central over the last couple of years, and all been just tough, hard-nosed individuals. We expect more of the same from Mitch as well. Excited to have Mitch in our program. Cody Brager. Cody is a linebacker from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. We project him to be an outside linebacker in our 3-4 scheme. Really a tough physical guy, fits the stereotype of our guys. He's a little Probably undersized, but really that doesn't matter as much as how physical he plays, how hard he plays, and just the edge, the passion he brings to the game. His dad's a coach. He's actually the defensive coordinator there at White Bear Lake, so got a real good football IQ as well, and really brings a lot of good intangibles to our program. Excited to have Cody. Adam Guthmiller. Adam is from Brandon Valley, South Dakota, played on their state runner-up team this past fall, 2012. Outside linebacker as well, much like Cody is, similar size. It really fits the prototype of our outside linebacker as well. Guys who are going to be able to be physical enough and tough enough to play on the line of scrimmage, play against tight ends and fullbacks, offensive linemen, but also athletic enough to go out in space and play on wide receivers, and do a lot of athletic things on the field. And really excited to have Adam coming from, a very successful program at Brandon Valley and bringing a lot of great things to the table. Is also a 31 ACT, so the top academic scholarship award you can receive at Northern State is what Adam received. JJ Hahn. JJ is a offensive and defensive lineman from Glenwood, Iowa. Played on both sides of the ball in high school. We project him to play offensive line here at Northern State. Really a physical guy for his high school, but also real athletic when you watch him. One of the most impressive clips of JJ is watching him run down and cover kickoffs on the kickoff cover team at 310 pounds or whatever he weighed. So, but played both sides of the ball and really brings a physical, athletic presence to the table. Excited to have JJ and bringing his level of play to our program. Matt Harding. Matt is a linebacker from Shoreview, Minnesota, Mounds View High School. Much like Adam Guthman, Matt's a 33 ACT. Again, the highest academic honor you can achieve here at Northern State is what the presidential scholarship is what Matt achieved. Played at a good high school and a good program at Mounds View. Physical player, runs around, makes a lot of plays. Again, you can see he's got a high football IQ and really a smart player, but brings a physical presence, from a size standpoint. Didn't look like a high school player when you see him in person. Just brings a lot of things physically to the table. Kyle Harms. Kyle is a running back from Liberty High School in Peoria, Arizona. Real successful high school program in the Phoenix area. Has a little connection to the area too. Has some family in Lenox, South Dakota, so he's got a little connection to Northern State and to South Dakota. But he really does a lot of things well. He can hit top speed in a hurry. He can make people miss, and he's a physical runner as well. And he gets downhill. We see him being a real good back in our scheme, our zone read scheme that we run with Kyle. With the things that he can do, he can get the top speed in a hurry and make people miss. Does a lot of things real dynamically. Excited to have Kyle in our program. Josh Hilgeman is from right here in town, Aberdeen Central, multi-sport athlete, basketball, track, and football. Toughness, really kind of the thing that I saw when I saw Josh play this fall in person, and also watched his highlights and watched his game video. He's really a tough guy and makes a lot of catches in traffic, plays physical for his size, and does a lot of things dynamically with the ball in terms of returning game, throwing it to him, running the ball, whatever they asked him to do, playing defense. Just really a dynamic, physical player, and has a chance to be a game changer type of guy. We project him to play a slot receiver for us and fits in real well with our scheme. Brendan Hayline. Brendan is a linebacker from Roncalli High School, and Brendan is a guy we recruited a couple years ago. Went on and played college baseball for a couple years, decided that he wanted to come back and play football again. We're excited to have Brendan on our team and back with us. He's currently enrolled here at Northern State and is working out with our team this winter, and will be with us for spring ball, and was really one of our top linebacker prospects a couple years ago when we recruited Brendan coming out of high school. So excited to have him back playing football. Excited to have him playing football for Northern State. His father is a football alum, and so there's certainly a connection here with Northern State and with Northern State football. So real excited to have Brendan decided to come back and play football and have him in our program effective immediately. Carson Hogan. Carson is an offensive lineman from Bemidji High School in Bemidji, Minnesota. He's big. He's 6'10", 320 pounds, and you really can't teach that. You know, he's just a big physical guy, and really, when he came on our visits, just really had a good feeling about Carson. Really felt comfortable with our players, felt comfortable with our coaches, and certainly you can't teach anybody to be that big. And also Carson's got some athleticism too for a guy his size. You can see in being a multi-sport guy, he's been involved in other sports as well. But we certainly like the size that he brings to the table. We think his upside is really really huge, and he's really a guy that we think can be an impact player on the offensive line for us. Shyler Kumpf is a linebacker from Aberdeen Central High School. He was our first commit back in early December. Shyler committed to our program on his visit. Led Aberdeen Central in tackles this year. Real aggressive, physical linebacker. Runs around, makes a lot of plays. Real excited to have him in our program. He's excited to be here. Really a good fit as one of the inside linebackers in our 3-4 scheme. Really fits that prototype pretty well, and we project him to be an impact type of player, be just a guy that's always around the ball, making a lot of plays, making a lot of tackles, real active player for Coach Flackus at Aberdeen Central. Blake Levine. Blake is a kicker from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Came out in January for our visit. Loved the visit. We project him to compete for our starting kicking spot this fall with the loss of Felipe Alfea, our all-conference kicker. We expect Blake to come in, and one of the few guys we think is going to project to come in and play immediately or compete for playing time immediately in our class. He can boom it as a kickoff guy, a lot of touchbacks, great hang time. Was real accurate on his field goals and his point after touchdowns as well. So really brings the whole package to our program as a kicker, and we expect him to come in and compete for playing time immediately. Nathan Mangin. Nathan is a wide receiver, defensive back. He's from Lisbon, North Dakota, about 100 miles from here. Again, a multi-sport, all-around athlete. Was a starter on their basketball team. Was also a state place winner in the 100 and 200 meters. I believe he took second in the 200 meters at the state meet last year at Lisbon. So again, all-around athletes. That's something we really look to get in our program. Guys that compete and do a lot of different things, a lot of different sports. And Nathan does that extremely well. But certainly his speed and his athleticism jump out at you. And he's a good-sized guy. He's got some good weight to him, and he's got some size potential. But he's also a strong guy that playing either position, wide receiver or defensive back, would be a real viable spot for him, and we just think his athleticism and speed is going to make him a good fit in our program and give him a chance to be an impact guy for us in the future. Marcus Marcellus is a defensive lineman. He is from Atkinson, Nebraska, West Holt High School, and Marcus is a big defensive end, 6'4", 240 pounds. A real athletic guy, runs around, does a lot of things athletically on the field. He's a multi-sport guy again. Really like his athleticism. We really think he fits the prototype of what we're looking for in our 3-4 defense, our defensive ends, just with his athleticism, strength, speed, all the things he does. He's really a good fit for what we do in our defensive scheme. Lane Meyer. Lane is from Ipswich, South Dakota, right down the road here. Played a lot of different positions in high school. Really a multi-sport guy, basketball as well. Was a state place winner in the shot put as a sophomore. And missed last year's track season because of an injury. But Lane does a lot of things well. Played a lot of different positions at Ipswich. We're projecting with his size and athleticism. We're projecting Lane to be on the offensive line here, but we like all the athletic things that he did and has done at the high school level. I think that really projects over well to being a successful collegiate offensive lineman football player. So we think Lane's athleticism really brings a lot to the table for our football program. Tate Nafziger. Tate is a linebacker. He's from Gettysburg, played at Potter County this fall in Gettysburg Co-op. And again, another all-around athlete, currently playing basketball, starting on their basketball team, a standout basketball player. for their basketball team, which was undefeated recently, and just did a lot of good things. Played quarterback and linebacker in high school. We are projecting Tate to be a linebacker in college, in our scheme, probably an outside linebacker in our 3-4 scheme. Does a lot of things well. I really like the fact that he did a lot of things athletically and played a lot of positions in high school. That really projects well to being a linebacker, probably being able to play several different positions at the college level, but really a real smart, intelligent guy on the field. You can tell that he's been playing a long time and really projects out well to the collegiate level as a linebacker. Austin Nath is an offensive lineman from Marshall High School, Marshall, Minnesota. Physical, really a strong physical guy. Also a long snapper as well, played offensive and defensive line in high school and did a lot of physical things for them, playing in a good high school program. Again, we see the physical side that he brings to the interior offensive line, probably guard or center positions in our scheme, and just a real strong physical player, athletic and active, being very successful in wrestling this year as well for Marshall High School, and brings a lot of athleticism and physical play to our program. Zach Page. Zach is a linebacker from Brookings High School, Brookings, South Dakota, playing basketball as well for a good Brookings team. Played tight end, played linebacker, real active, athletic guy, runs around, makes a lot of plays. Really been a guy that we've been identified and recruited for several months, well, probably a year in our program, and we really felt was a good fit for our program as a student, as a player, and as a person, and really fits in well to what we're doing in the 3-4 scheme. And again, we project Zach to be an inside linebacker in our defensive scheme. Eric Peterson. Eric is a tight end from Fargo Davies High School, Fargo, North Dakota. Played tight end, played linebacker as well. We like his athleticism. He's starting on one of the best basketball teams in the state in North Dakota. Really like the edge that he brings when you watch him block and get after people in the run game. Also playing defense, the way he plays physical, plays with an edge when tackling, getting after the quarterback, running back. Just real kind of a quiet, mild-mannered guy, but when you get him on the field and you get him competing, he really gets after it. Really like the physical edge that he brought to the table, and project him as a tight end in our scheme this fall. Dacian Schumann is a wide receiver defensive back from Minnetonka High School, Minnetonka, Minnesota. We're going to project him to play corner. Real athletic, active player, does a lot of things well. Did a lot of things well at Minnetonka High School, which is one of the better programs in the state of Minnesota. Returning kicks, playing receiver, playing defensive back. We really think he fits in well what we're looking for at the cornerback position with his athleticism, speed, good feel for the game, playmaking abilities. Really think Dacian's going to be a good fit at the cornerback position, and we're excited to have him in our program. Sean Schweichler. Sean is a running back and returner from Williamsfield High School in Gilbert, Arizona. Sean's really a difference maker, dynamic player when you look at the things he did. He had over 1,600 yards and 34 touchdowns as a senior, played on a very good Williamsfield High School team, one of the best teams in the state in their class in Arizona. We've got a couple of Williamsfield guys already, Ryan Wabrecht and Kyle Cranenbrink, and so we think Sean fits in well with our guys. When he was up on his visit, felt real comfortable with our players, but really a dynamic, game-changing kind of guy as a running back. As a returner, also does a good job catching the ball as well. So we think he brings a lot of things to the table and can really be a difference maker type of player at the collegiate level, and really excited to have him with us and having him join our program this fall. Logan Schockman. Logan is a defensive lineman from Lemoore, North Dakota, Lemoore High School. Again, is a state wrestling, ranked in the top 2 or 3 in the state of North Dakota at his weight class in wrestling. Shows what type of overall athlete he is. Real good student, and really comes from a real successful athletic family. A lot of brothers and aunts and uncles that have been successful high school and collegiate players. Again, his athleticism, his length that he brings, real high motor kind of a guy. Only played a few games, only played about 4 games this year because of an injury he started the year out with, but really projects out well. We see his potential to get a lot bigger and stronger as he gets older to really fit in well into our 3-4 defensive scheme. Jake Sullivan. Jake is a quarterback from St. Thomas More High School. Much like Logan, had his senior year cut short because of an injury and only played about 3.5 games, but really throws the ball extremely well. Played for his dad, Wayne Sullivan, at St. Thomas More, and he's a winner. When you look at what he's done as a football player, as a basketball player, and as a baseball player, Jake has just been a tremendous guy. Been a part of a lot of winning teams. Currently, their basketball team, I believe, is ranked 3rd or 4th in the state, and 15-1, 16-1, something like that. And when you watch him play basketball, you can tell he's one of the leaders on the floor there, and he's certainly got all the intangibles, all the things you look for in a quarterback, how he presents himself and how he carries himself, and we really think he's really a good fit for what we do offensively, and that he really fits into the prototype of what we're looking for in our quarterback. But off the field as well. If you're going to be a quarterback, you got to do a lot of things well on the field. You got to do a lot of things well off the field, and he's really that guy. And really excited to have him being a quarterback in our program beginning this fall. Brian Sumption. Brian is from Frederick High School, played at Leola Frederick, played for Coach Marty Morlock. Just a tremendous all-around athlete. Had crazy numbers this year, 27 touchdowns this year as a senior, played running back. We're projecting Brian to play wide receiver at the college level. He's also a 1,000-point scorer in basketball, one of the top basketball players from the area, from the region. Also been a state place winner in the high jump the last couple of years. Again, just really see his overall potential being a huge upside, because he's a guy that's been involved in a lot of sports. He's always been busy going to the next sport, and we think once he gets here and he's able to concentrate on one sport and really get bigger and stronger and really do a good job in our weight room, he's got the dynamic playmaking abilities, and he's a winner and really does a lot of things well. And projecting him to being a wide receiver and being a real good wide receiver in our system. Barron Taylor. Barron is a defensive back wide receiver. He's from Roseville High School in Roseville, Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. Does a lot of things well, both sides of the ball, returning kicks as well. We're projecting Barron to be a defensive back or possibly a receiver in our scheme. And we like the athleticism that he brings to the table, and the fact that he's a multi-position guy. We can play him at a lot of different spots, but real dynamic guy, can make a lot of big plays on either side of the ball and in the kicking game. And we think he can be a game-changing type of skill player for us. Nick Truen. Nick is a running back from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Played on a real good White Bear Lake High School team. Really I think a prototypical Northern Sun back, or a Northern Sun North Division back is what I said. And when you watch him run, he runs real physical. When you see teams in our league, especially in the North half, late in the year, or all year for that matter, but late in the year, especially when you're late in games, when you're trying to win games, you need a physical back. Nick's going to give that to you, but he's also dynamic enough. He can make people miss and show breakaway speed as well. But we really like the complete package that he gives you as a running back, and running physical, but also being able to be dynamic enough to change directions and make people miss as well. Jamie Walters. Jamie is a defensive line and nose guard from Chamberlain High School, Chamberlain, South Dakota. Real athletic, explosive guy. When you watch him play, he's really a difference maker kind of guy. You really saw him dominate games from the defensive line position, and did a lot of things well at Chamberlain. We really project him to be a nose guard in our 3-4 scheme. And again, we think getting him into our weight room, our strength and conditioning program, full-time beginning this fall, really will get his size and strength up where we need to be. But really a raw athletic guy, and runs around, makes a lot of plays, and does a lot of things physical, and really a disruptive player on defense. Finally, Garrett Young. Garrett is a defensive lineman. He is from Warner, South Dakota. Played on their state runner-up team this past year at Warner High School. Athletic, active defensive lineman. Garrett was at our camp this summer, came to several games this fall, and really, we really had a mutual interest. We knew from the start that Garrett wanted to be here, and we've really gotten gotten to know him and feel that he fits in real comfortably with what we're doing in our 3-4 scheme. We project Garrett as a defensive lineman. He plays on their basketball team as well. He's been hampered with an injury right now, but expect to see him back in the court soon. But really an athletic, active defensive lineman that, again, get him into our weight room. We think he's going to be able to really add a lot of size and strength as he rolls into his college career. That's it. We've got 30 guys that we've signed this morning, and will be joining our program. Like I said, a couple of them already have joined us at mid-year. 28 of them will be joining this fall. Excited to have such great community support. Our assistant coaches, my assistant coaches, have just done an outstanding job in the recruiting process, identifying and recruiting players, and really it's a never-ending process. And guys have done a great job staying with players and really working hard at it, a lot of time on the road. And then the NSU community, when you look at our instructors, the people within our campus, from tour guides to our strength and conditioning department to our sports information department to everything, we've just got a great support system here. And we think we've got a lot of fun things, a lot of great things going on at Northern right now, academically and athletically in football as well. And so we're excited to bring in the latest additions to the NSU Wolves football program.